Think you know how to travel Italy like a pro? Think again. From dipping your toes in ancient fountains to unknowingly breaking local laws, tourists keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Today, we're counting down 8 forbidden activities that many travelers don't even realize are illegal in Italy. Stick around because these common tourist missteps could cost you more than just a few dirty looks. They might even land you a hefty fine. Let's dive into the surprising rules that could ruin your Italian adventure. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. One of the most well-known prohibitions at Rome's Trevi Fountain is swimming or wading in the water. While it may seem tempting to cool off or reenact scenes from classic movies like La Dolce Vita, entering the fountain is strictly forbidden. The local authorities enforce this rule to preserve the historical landmark, which dates back to the 18th century. Tourists caught swimming or even dipping their feet in the fountain can face steep fines, often up to €500, $550. Security cameras and regular patrols ensure that the law is upheld, and offenders are swiftly penalized. In addition to swimming, it is also prohibited to sit, climb, or stand on the edges of the fountain. Many tourists try to take photos or relax on the stone ledges, but this is considered disrespectful to the monument's cultural significance. Littering, leaving behind personal items, or engaging in any disruptive behavior near the Trevi Fountain can also result in fines. Visitors are encouraged to admire the fountain from a respectful distance and participate in the famous tradition of tossing a coin into the water to ensure a return to Rome. One of the most strictly enforced prohibitions at the Spanish Steps in Rome is sitting on them. The steps, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are not just a popular tourist destination but also a historically significant landmark. In an effort to preserve the beauty and integrity of the steps, local authorities have banned sitting or lounging on them. Tourists often seek to rest or take photos while sitting, but doing so can result in hefty fines of up to €400, $450. This rule is part of a broader initiative to protect Rome's historical monuments from damage and overcrowding. In addition to sitting, eating or drinking on the Spanish Steps is also forbidden. Tourists frequently attempt to picnic or enjoy snacks while admiring the view, but this is prohibited to maintain cleanliness and respect for the cultural heritage. These measures have been put in place to preserve the steps, which date back to the 18th century, and to prevent wear and tear caused by the large number of daily visitors. Respecting these rules ensures that the Spanish Steps remain an iconic and well-preserved site for future generations to enjoy. Picnicking at popular landmarks in Italy, such as the Spanish Steps in Rome or Piazza San Marco in Venice, is strictly prohibited to preserve the cultural integrity and cleanliness of these historic sites. These landmarks are not only iconic tourist destinations but also carry immense historical, architectural, and cultural significance. Allowing picnics in these areas often leads to littering, food stains, and potential damage to centuries-old monuments, diminishing the aesthetic and heritage value for future visitors. The large crowds in these places also make it difficult to maintain hygiene standards, as leftover food can attract pests and create unsanitary conditions in highly trafficked areas. Furthermore, the act of picnicking in such revered spaces can be seen as disrespectful to the local culture, which values the preservation of its heritage. Italian authorities have implemented strict rules to protect these landmarks, ensuring that they remain pristine and respected by both locals and tourists. Public eating areas are designated elsewhere, encouraging tourists to enjoy their meals in appropriate spots rather than on historic steps or near important buildings. These regulations are part of Italy's broader efforts to maintain the dignity and beauty of its world-famous landmarks while preventing the erosion of cultural sites due to careless tourist behavior. Feeding pigeons in Venice, particularly in the iconic Piazza San Marco, is strictly prohibited due to the severe damage they cause to the city's historic landmarks. Pigeons are attracted to tourist-heavy areas where they can easily find food, and their droppings are highly acidic, causing significant harm to ancient buildings, statues, and monuments. Over time, the acidic waste accelerates the erosion of these priceless structures, many of which have already stood for centuries. To protect its architectural heritage and maintain the beauty of its public spaces, the city implemented the ban on feeding pigeons, coupled with fines for violators. Beyond the damage to infrastructure, the large pigeon population in Venice creates health concerns. Pigeons can carry diseases, and their overwhelming presence in public spaces raises hygiene issues for both locals and visitors. By discouraging pigeon feeding, Venice aims to reduce the bird population and keep public areas cleaner and safer. The ban, therefore, is not just about preserving Venice's historic charm, but also about ensuring a more pleasant and sanitary environment for everyone to enjoy. Wearing inappropriate clothing in churches in Italy is strictly prohibited due to the deep religious and cultural significance these places hold. Churches in Italy, such as St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City or the Duomo in Florence, are not just tourist attractions but sacred spaces of worship for millions of people. Dressing modestly is seen as a sign of respect for the sanctity of the environment. Guidelines typically require visitors to cover their shoulders and knees, as a way to show reverence in these religious spaces that have been important centers of Christian faith for centuries. Additionally, many of Italy's churches contain priceless works of art, such as Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling or Caravaggio's paintings, making them cultural treasures as well as places of devotion. The dress codes are part of maintaining the solemn atmosphere of these spaces, allowing worshippers and visitors alike to appreciate the spirituality and history without distractions. Tourists who ignore these rules can be denied entry, highlighting how strongly these cultural norms are enforced to preserve the sacredness of Italy's religious heritage. Jumping the line at tourist attractions in Italy is strictly prohibited because it disrupts the orderly experience that authorities strive to maintain for all visitors. Popular sites like the Colosseum, Vatican museums, and the Uffizi Gallery draw thousands of tourists daily, and skipping the queue undermines fairness. Italy's tourism industry values providing equal opportunities for everyone to enjoy these cultural and historical landmarks without chaos. Cutting in line creates confusion, tension, and often causes delays for those who patiently follow the rules. Furthermore, Italy's rich cultural heritage is closely regulated to preserve the integrity of its historical sites. Many attractions limit visitor numbers to protect these ancient monuments from overcrowding and damage. Disregarding these regulations by jumping the queue can lead to fines, penalties, or being denied entry altogether. Respect for the rules is essential in maintaining both the safety of the attractions and the quality of the tourist experience in one of the world's most visited countries. Taking souvenirs from nature, particularly in protected areas like Cinque Terre in Italy, is strictly prohibited to preserve the region's delicate ecosystem. Cinque Terre is a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its stunning coastal landscapes, unique biodiversity, and terraced vineyards. Removing natural elements such as rocks, plants, or even sand can disrupt local habitats, harm plant and animal life, and contribute to soil erosion, which is a serious issue in this fragile area. By taking souvenirs, visitors unintentionally damage the natural beauty that the region is famous for, diminishing the experience for future tourists. Moreover, the Italian government and local authorities have implemented strict regulations to protect Cinque Terre's natural heritage. Heavy fines are imposed on those caught removing natural elements, as these acts violate conservation laws. The regulations are designed to ensure that the region's environment remains intact for future generations to enjoy. Visitors are encouraged to appreciate the natural beauty without disturbing it, and instead take home memories and photographs rather than physical objects from the landscape. Using wheeled suitcases on historic streets, particularly in Venice, Italy, is strictly prohibited to preserve the city's delicate infrastructure. Venice is renowned for its narrow, cobbled streets and ancient bridges, many of which date back centuries. Constant rolling of suitcase wheels on these uneven surfaces causes gradual but significant damage to the stone and masonry, accelerating the wear and tear on Venice's fragile foundations. Given the city's long history of fighting against rising water levels and erosion, authorities have implemented strict rules to protect these centuries-old streets and landmarks from further harm. Additionally, Venice's unique acoustic environment amplifies sound due to its close proximity to water and narrow alleyways. The noise created by wheeled suitcases disrupts the peaceful atmosphere that defines much of the city's charm. The echoing sound can be particularly disturbing for residents and visitors alike, diminishing the tranquil experience Venice is famous for. To minimize both environmental impact and noise pollution, authorities have recommended alternative methods, such as carrying luggage or using luggage services, to ensure the preservation of the city's cultural and architectural heritage. Thanks for joining us as we explored some of the most surprising and forbidden activities tourists keep doing in Italy. We hope this video helps you avoid these common mistakes and enhances your travel experience. Remember, respecting local laws and customs is key to enjoying everything Italy has to offer, from its stunning landmarks to its rich culture. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow travelers. Safe travels, and see you in the next video.